forward in respect to Cardano, this technology is really overlooked. In my opinion, I would say that as we move forward and we see Cardano really showing the public space what it's capable of doing, and we witness all the different potential that's in store for this technology step by step moving forward, every point of the time, it's definitely really interesting to see how far Cardano has come so far, in particular when it comes to this solving the proof of stake conundrum, and moving forward. I think that Cardano definitely does have a really promising future in front of it. Quick understanding of basically where we are in respect to the current climate of cryptocurrencies. Well, of course, Bitcoin was the first digital currency that really paved the way in the public consciousness for what has now become a revolution in terms of seeing all the different potential that's in store for these technologies. And when it comes to Bitcoin, it really paved the way for people to start having this conversation, and the multiple levels of society have continued to conform to the new potential that's made available in respect to these technologies. And Bitcoin was essentially front and center when it came to that. And then right up next, we had Ethereum, which essentially with the introduction of smart contracts essentially started an entirely new wave of cryptocurrency in respect to the public conversation that's been happening and proceeding as we've continued to move forward. Ethereum was really a huge part in that, but now what we're essentially moving forward to is the age of Cardano, which has been heralded as the new age of cryptocurrencies, because it takes all the different possibilities that were made available by the technologies that came before it and essentially compile them all into one perfect formula that's really going to be substantial when we move forward into the next stage of the paradigm shift that's currently happening. Cardano is definitely one of those technologies that's interesting to be paying attention to. Even if you're not particularly interested in Cardano in and of itself, watching the reputation of Cardano as it's continued to develop and so forth, it's been very exciting to see all the different variables as they've come into alignment regarding this technology. And it's my personal opinion, I would say that Cardano has the potential to overtake Ethereum in that #2 position as we continue to move forward, as Cardano continues to exert itself in the way that's currently been presented. I think the way that Cardano has been positioning themselves in terms of the cryptocurrency community is something that needs to be paid attention to, and certainly it's something that's got my attention. I'm definitely interested in seeing how Cardano is going to be moving forward, and yeah, that solid foundation that they've been building up until this point is really going to be an essential determining factor in seeing how this technology continues to move forward. And in respect to the team that's working on Cardano, I think that they have a really hardworking team, and I think that the Cardano in general is definitely on track to becoming a household name, respectively, when you consider the multiple variables that are coming into consideration in regards to how we're moving forward. I mean, I would definitely recommend that everybody go and follow at Cardano Foundation on their official Twitter, because I mean, the way I found their Twitter was just by going to CoinMarketCap and clicking social, because it's always important to make sure that you're following the most authoritative resources. I would say do this with the news articles as well. Always make sure that you are double checking, because of course, in particular with Twitter, there are a lot of fake accounts out there, and you'll want to make sure that you're using real good resources to move forward and so forth. But yeah, just saying hello to the chat real quick. How's everybody doing? And yeah, but it is really interesting to be seeing how Cardano has been expanding itself in respect to the totality of the potential that's in store for it. And it really is important to remember that we are at the beginning stages of this when it comes to cryptocurrency in total. There really is a shift shifting paradigm that's happening when it comes to digital currencies, and when it comes to the potential that's made available by these different technologies. And it's really going to be a step-by-step process, because the global community is inherently invested in basically the status quo that we're currently experiencing, and that fundamental shift at the core of the status quo that's pretty much been going along for so much time is now essentially at the root of the digital age, and where we're moving forward right now. So it is definitely interesting to see how the public, I mean, you could see it in the news. You know, you turn on any news station, and the conversation about data, the public is essentially becoming more and more aware of the reality of the online world. So these developments are, from my opinion, they're essentially organic, and it seems as if it's a natural movement towards cryptocurrency. And I think as long as crypto is allowed to go untampered, for the most part, it is definitely has a lot of potential to basically naturally grow and move forward. But I mean, it is interesting to see the this upward mobility that we've been witnessing for since the middle of April. So we're headed up to about a month now of movement that's been generally positive. So it is definitely interesting to see the fact that we've essentially overcome that what we were going through was essentially a correction, and now what we're witnessing is sort of this V developing. And but it is also important to remember, I wouldn't get too confident in things when it comes to cryptocurrency. You always have to take into consideration variable change. You always have to take into consideration the fact that this is a very volatile space, and you never really know what's going to be happening. So but of course, in the long term, my analysis of these technologies is that they're essentially the future. And like I said, when everything's left up to its natural progression, things tend to have a tendency to move in a direction that allows for the things to have the most optimal growth. And I think when it comes to these technologies, it's a lot to be said in regards to that same paradigm shift that we're witnessing happening across the board. But yeah, in regards to the whole Twitter thing, yeah, if you guys aren't already, make sure that you follow me on my Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber. And yeah, I'm always interested in connecting with the community. So if any of you are interested, the link to my Twitter is right there in the description. So I think it's awesome that we've been able to build this community across so many different platforms. And I think that moving forward, it is definitely really exciting to see. I think we have some of the smartest people in this community right now who are essentially sharing information regarding cryptocurrencies. And you guys have to remember, quick disclaimer here, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Remember, I'm not your dad. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. You already know my audience is pretty woke to that fact. Everybody on here is pretty much aware I'm not your dad. And at the end of the day, that's just the fact of the matter. And but yeah, if you are interested in finding more information regarding Cardano, I'm actually going to be including a link to this video by the Modern Investor down in the description below. I think that this channel, the Modern Investor, is really an overlooked channel. I think there's a lot of quality offered by this channel, so I'm plopping the link to this video down. So once the stream's over, you guys can go and watch this video by him. And yeah, I think that he provides a really interesting perspective in regards to the movement forward when it comes to the different deals that are being struck with Cardano. And one of the fundamental things that I think that Cardano is doing that really separates itself from the rest of cryptocurrency is the deals that they're striking with the establishment. I think that these are going to be fundamental deals moving forward that are going to play a huge role in the public becoming used to using these different technologies, essentially it has to happen on the level of the banks. It has to happen on the level of the institution, respectively, and we moving forward have to see these different variables coming into coordination. Now, in regards to where Ethereum currently stands, I think that as we continue to see Cardano advancing, they have a really good opportunity to advance in a lot of areas that Ethereum has already pretty much determined themselves. So where situations where Ethereum has already been forced to make a decision, Cardano is essentially going to be able to pick up the pace and move forward respectively when it comes to the technology and seeing the different developments that are in store for it along the way. So definitely a lot of really exciting things happening regarding that and the technology's development. And just looking at the different news articles regarding Cardano, it is interesting to get an idea of the public consciousness when it comes to this technology. And of course, I would always say when it comes to reading these different news articles, always take them with sort of a grain of salt. I mean, I like the Global Coin Report. I like News BTC and the Crypto Globalist. But I mean, I like these reading these news articles and so forth, but it is always important when it comes to these mainstream outlets and their websites and so forth. They're predominantly interested in getting clickbait and getting traffic onto their websites, and who can blame them? I'm not really faulting them for that, but of course, in my calculations, it is important to take this into consideration because the information can sometimes be biased. So that's something to be taken into consideration. That's why I always say I'd recommend everybody do your own research when it comes to these technologies and moving forward and becoming educated. And that's why another reason why it's great that we've been able to build this community. Yeah, that's right, Charlie Lee, I'm not your dad. That's great. Great fun. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the different the Twitter sphere regarding Cardano, I mean, it is definitely interesting to be seeing. Let's see, Cardano. Yeah, so I was going through this earlier, and it is definitely interesting to be seeing how this different potential has been exerting itself in regards to these developments as they've been taking place. I think seeing Cardano in that number 7 position, I think that there is a lot of potential for upward mobility, especially in the current climate of cryptocurrencies. Moving forward, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of potential, and I'm fairly confident to that regard. I mean, my analysis of Cardano is fundamentally data driven, and I find that it's important to look at the team that's working on these technologies and so forth. And when it comes to Cardano, I think that the future pretty much speaks for itself. So yeah, all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.